Effortlessly slip past enemy attacks and strike back while you Misty Step your way through Apocalypse and Remnant 2. My name is Dudley, and today I'll be showcasing my favorite build, the Guardian. The Guardian is a tank build that provides high mobility and sustain, offering a fun and unique playstyle centered around Misty Step. But what is Misty Step? When you pair Ring of Omens with one of the 6 special amulets, your normal dodge is transformed into Misty Step. This enhanced dodge has the advantage of an increased evade window, but at the cost of some health. In this build guide, I'll be showing how we can mitigate those health costs, allowing us to dodge almost infinitely. Let's get started. First up, we have our archetypes. For our prime archetype, we'll be using Challenger. Challenger's perks grant us some tankiness along with a passive 35% increase to all damage and 10% increase to crit chance. The damage buffs fall off at range, but this isn't an issue when we could quickly reposition with Misty Step. More importantly, the Powerlifter perk reduces the stamina cost of evades by 50%, helping to reduce the health cost of said Misty Step. Finally, Challenger's prime perk, Die Hard, allows us to stay in the fight if worse comes to worst. For our secondary archetype, we'll be picking up Medic. Medic provides us with an increased sustain through relic buffs, as well as an unconditional 25% increase to all damage and a 5% increase to crit chance. As for his skills, I recommend Challenger's Rampage and Medic's Healing Shield. You can't go wrong with any of the skill choices, but these were the two that I found to be the most effective. Next up, let's go over our trait allocation. Since we're running Challenger and Medic, we get Strong Back and Triage for free. Strong Back isn't the greatest trait, but it does allow us to squeeze out a bit more armor from the 10 extra encumbrance it provides. Triage, however, is extremely beneficial as it increases our healing effectiveness by 50%. This also applies to any passive health regeneration we receive, allowing us to Misty Step virtually without penalty. We want to max out Fitness, as this trait increases our Misty Step distance by 30%. You can find this trait in Narude at the Vault of the Formless. Then max out Regrowth and Bloodstream. Regrowth increases health regeneration by 1.5 health per second, while Bloodstream increases gray health regen by 3. These two traits work in tandem to recover any health we lose upon performing a Misty Step. Regrowth is from the Summoner archetype, and Bloodstream is found in Yesha from the NPC Midra. Also max out Vigor and Fortify to increase max health by 30 and armor effectiveness by 50%. With these traits, you'll be able to tank through some of the harder hitting enemy attacks. The Fortify trait can be earned by leveling Engineer. Next, we'll be putting 10 points into Siphoner. Siphoner grants 3% lifesteal, helping to improve the build sustain. Siphoner is found in Narude at the Dormant Narudian facility. And lastly, the 8 remaining points can go into a trait of your choice. I recommend Bark Skin as it reduces all incoming damage by 8%, giving us a tiny bit more tankiness. Bark Skin is found in Yesha, also from the NPC Midra. Now for the fun stuff, the actual loadout of our build. Let's first go over our relic choices. First up, Tranquil Heart. This relic is undoubtedly the best option for the build. It provides a passive 2.3 health regen per second, effectively minimizing the health penalty after each Misty Step. Tranquil Heart is, however, a bit tricky to obtain. You'll have to feed the override pin from Narude to the Nightweaver's Web in Losum. This only earns you the Tormented Heart, so take it over to Namu to trade it for the relic we're actually looking for, Tranquil Heart. If you're still working on obtaining Tranquil Heart, Crystal Heart makes for a great substitute. Just be cautious when spamming Misty Step for extended periods of time, as we won't have the same amount of health regen that Tranquil Heart provides. Also consider swapping Medic to your primary archetype, as Medic's prime perk Regenerator will allow you to replenish your relics. Crystal Heart can be found in Narude at the Dark Conduit dungeon. As for Relic Fragments, I like to slot healing effectiveness, stamina cost, and health. Swap these out as you see fit in order to cater to your own preferred playstyle. Moving on to our Amulet and Ring choices. For our Amulet, Full Moon Circlet synergizes perfectly with our build. When paired with Ring of Omens, the normal dodge becomes Misty Step. It also provides 3% lifesteal and 20% range damage at full health. This amulet can be found in Yesha at the Imperial Gardens during a blood moon. If you don't have Full Moon Circlet yet, no worries, as this build functions similarly without it. Feel free to use any amulet that suits your playstyle. Other amulets I recommend would be Indignant Fetish for some sustain and damage, or if you just want something that's fun, I like using Toxic Release Valve. For our first ring choice, we have Ring of Omens. Ring of Omens defers the evade cost to health instead of stamina. Since we've stacked up on passive health regen, we're pretty much able to dodge infinitely. Ring of Omens is found in Yesha at the Cathedral of Omens during a blood moon. This is the only ring that is absolutely essential to the build. As for the other rings, I've split some potential options into 3 separate categories which I'll quickly go over: mobility, sustain, and DPS. For mobility rings, we have Frivolous Band, which increases our evade speed by 10%, or Anastasia's Inspiration, which provides a permanent haste effect due to our build's passive health regen. Sustain rings include Hardcore Metal Band, which grants a stack of Bulwark for 10 seconds for each hit you take, or Seal of the Empress, which increases max health by 20. For DPS, Outcast Ring pairs well with shotguns as it increases reload speed up to 25%, or Zanya's Malice, which increases weak spot damage by up to 30%. One last honorable mention is Feedback Loop. Upon perfect dodge, which we'll be doing a lot of with this build, triggers an AoE blast that deals shock damage and applies overload to enemies. As for the weapons of this build, you may freely use whichever you prefer. For your long gun, I recommend a shotgun like Spore Bloom. Shotguns are beneficial to this build as you're able to weave in some burst damage between each Misty Step. Spore Bloom can be purchased from Brabus after clearing the game on veteran difficulty. For the mutator, I find that Bandit or Slayer works best. If you're going against a flying boss like Annihilation, you can swap this out for something like the Black Maw AR-47. With the Black Maw, I like to run the Corrosive Rounds mod and Momentum as the mutator. For the handgun slot, I recommend running the MP60R alongside the Spore Bloom. Paired with the Refunder mutator, you'll be able to replenish Spore Bloom's ammo stores. For the mod, it's up to you. And for the last bit of our loadout, we have the armor. Thanks to Challenger's strong back trait, we can run full Letos Mark II minus the gloves, which we will replace with the Field Medic gloves. This is the optimal armor setup under 75 weight, and it provides us with 306 total armor thanks to the Fortify trait. And one last thing before we hop into the gameplay, let's go over some of the consumables we can make use of to further spice up the build. The concoction Dark Fluid increases evade distance by 15% and reduces the cost by 20%, further buffing our Misty Step. This paired with Ambit Ember, which increases our evade speed by 15%, allows us to quickly move through dungeons. Now that I've told you everything there is to the build, it's time to show you it in action on Apocalypse. Will that hit me? No way. So like the bandit proc should be like outrageous now. Look at it. The bandit proc, it makes a huge difference. Oh my. How many was that, guys? How many? Ooh! I tried to swag dodge that one. There you go, we swag dodged it. There we go. I hope you enjoy the Guardian build as much as I have. A lot of time was spent into build testing and putting this video together, so if you enjoyed it, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any fun builds you'd like for me to try, leave a comment or post it in the community Discord. For more content like this, check out my live stream on Twitch where I regularly stream Remnant 2 and more. Thank you so much for checking out my first build guide. My name is Dudley and I hope to see you in the next video.